can join me in singing the opening song if you'd like. It's called God is My Source. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power, peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning. Thank you for joining Unity of the Valley's Sunday Cyber Service. I'm Mark Sowell, and I'll be your platform service leader today. We're excited to welcome back Rachel Holder-Henning as our guest musician this morning. Wonderful to have you with us today, Rachel. Thank you. We're also looking forward to Nuri Hassumani's message. Nuri is new to us, and I'll introduce him more fully in a few minutes. We are greatly appreciative of our musicians and speakers who are willing and able to join us on Zoom until we can return to our beautiful center. Hopefully you all had a nice Thanksgiving. We had daylight savings time a few weeks back. Hopefully this time you all took your 15 pounds at 2 o'clock the night before Thanksgiving. Also, along the lines of Nuri's talk about spirituality, did you hear about the monk who went to the hot dog vendor? The vendor said, "What'll it be for you?" The monk said, "One with everything." He then pays with a $20 bill, and the vendor takes the money, and not to be outdone, he doesn't give him change. The monk gives a confused look looking for the change, and the vendor replies to him, "Change must come from within." Anyway, we are blessed to have several volunteers who make this service happen digitally each Sunday. Let me introduce those to you who are helping out this morning. Catherine Belisle is our back-end manager. Kathleen Navarre will light our first Advent candle and then read the daily word. And Sherry Johnson will deliver the prayer box blessing and lead our affirmations. Special thanks to Tim Buss, who is jumping in to help create our slides, and Tina Reynoso, who is showing them today. We appreciate our volunteers. Our service would not happen without them. A few reminders for you. Unless you have a role in today's service, please keep your microphone on mute until the end. Likewise, if you're going to be multitasking while you watch the service, please turn off your video so as not to distract other viewers. Those controls are in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. Finally, please do refrain from using the chat feature during the service as it distracts from the music and the message. Thank you. And now, get comfortable, tune out any distractions, and let in the love and light. After the service, you're welcome to stay on and say hello to other Unity members and guests during our online social time. Your mics will then be unmuted. Now I'd like to introduce our speakers so as not to interrupt the flow of our meditation time. We are very honored to have Nuri Hassumani with us today. He has had glimpses of what what's possible for all of us and wants to whet our curiosity and inspire a sense of wonder to help us arrive at our own understandings of how to live a meaningful, joyous, and healthy life. Nuri has a doctorate and was president of Anoka Technical College from 1984 to 1989. He taught at the University of St. Thomas from 1993 to 2008. Prompted by flashes of precognition and near-death experience, Nuri began his quest to learn how such unusual phenomena could occur in the ordinary life. Probing modern science, quantum physics, and ancient spiritual wisdom, he led to explore the nature of consciousness itself with astonishing results. Nuri's message will highlight the key points of his book, Infinite Mind, a scientific and spiritual exploration, building a bridge between inner and outer worlds. The book took over a decade to research and write and was published in 2019. In it, he explains how together ancient spiritual traditions and cutting-edge science fashioned for us a roadmap for how to live well. His message to us today is titled, Living Abundantly. Nuri, we greatly look forward to hearing what you've learned and experienced. At this time, we'd like to welcome anyone who's watching our Zoom service for the first time. Please join me in this special blessing. We offer you peace, love, and friendship. We bless you, and we're glad you're here. It's now time for the lighting of the first Advent candle and reading of the daily word, followed by the blessing of the prayer box and reading of our affirmations.
Good morning. The time of Advent is a wake-up call for our spirits. It's a time to prepare ourselves for the rebirth of the Christ light within us. We light the Christ candle and an Advent candle each of the 4 Sundays before Christmas. These 4 candles represent faith, peace, love, and joy. They are set in a circle of greens, which represents God's everlasting and unending love for us. We remember that we are called to be the light of God in this world. I now light the candle of faith for our Advent season. Please join me in saying the affirmation. My faith awakens to the Christ Spirit within me. I prepare for a meaningful Christmas. And now we have a reading from today's daily word, the Sunday, November 29th, 2020. And the word is faith. Faith lights my path and guides my way. As Advent season begins, my thoughts turn to faith. I believe in my capacity to be hopeful, assured, and strengthened as I embark on this journey of faith. Faith keeps me open to discovering reasons to have hope, even when I do not yet see any evidence for hopefulness. Faith gives me assurance that my indwelling divinity will lead me to accomplish all that I set out to achieve. Faith fortifies me with the necessary strength to transcend my limited human knowledge, allowing divine wisdom to guide my thoughts and actions. I believe in good things to come. I believe in my ability to bring those things into manifestation. I am grateful for the gift of faith. And from Romans 15:13, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And that's the daily word for today. Namaste.
This prayer box holds an infinite number of virtual prayers. So I invite you to silently add your own name and the names of anyone in your heart or on your mind who may need prayer support. These virtual prayers are known and will be addressed by the infinite. We know that the truth behind all appearance of disharmony is the divine and perfect presence of the infinite, which we call God. We call forth within all people the wisdom and strength, the love and peace, the wholeness and vitality of this perfect presence. We affirm that the requests in our prayer box and in our hearts and on our minds are being resolved in divine timing for the highest good of all concerned. We send love and light not only to these people and circumstances, but to our community, our country, and our world. May the love of God enfold us. May the peace of God uphold us. May the wisdom of God inspire us and help us to know in our hearts that all is well. And so it is. Please join me in saying the affirmation for the day. I use my infinite mind to create a meaningful, full, joyous, and healthy life. And also together, the affirmation for our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity of the Valley is a prosperous, thriving, inspired, connected community. We are growing spiritually and manifesting our dreams and goals in an energy of love, peace, and joy. And so it is. Amen.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there
Welcome. I hope all of you had a happy Thanksgiving. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be with you this morning. Thank you, Jennifer Stevens and Peggy Henriksen, for your assistance in making it possible. My name is Nuri Hassumani. To make it easier for you to remember it, here's a word association. Hassumani sounds like has no money. I'm humbled because I'm aware that I'm speaking to a group of people with considerable wisdom and spiritual knowledge. In other words, what I share with you this morning will essentially emphasize the truths you already know and believe in. Of course, it is uplifting and meaningful to review the truths we know from different perspectives. My remarks today are based on my book, Infinite Mind, a scientific and spiritual exploration, building a bridge between inner and outer worlds. And this meditation that we will do is in that book. So I invite you to sit comfortably. You may close your eyes if you like. Calmly breathe in and out. As you begin to relax, imagine being in an enchanted forest on a warm summer afternoon on the shore of a river. It is peaceful here. The river is calm and the forest is serene and beautiful. You feel blessed to be here and you continue to breathe with ease. You feel like moving closer to the river, and you do. You're close enough to touch it, and you do. It feels soft, wet, and cool. You are delighted by this feeling and you smile. You run your fingers gently through the surface of the water, which is clean enough to drink. You are at peace and you want time to stop. Sun filters through the leaves of the trees, lining the riverbank, casting shadows intermingled with sunshine. You wonder how it would feel to step into the water. You can't resist the temptation. The river's beauty and calm intertwine with yours, and you take a few steps into the water. The soft sand under your feet and the water lapping your ankles calm you even more. You stand here, continuing to breathe comfortably, aware of yourself and everything around you. You are in awe of the pristine nature of the river and the forest. Everything seems abundant and alive. Stay here for a while. After you begin to feel the serenity and peace of the river, you can come back to its shore. There's a warm, clean towel waiting for you. Feel the softness of the towel as you dry your feet and ankles. Don't rush. Be present and feel every sensation. You are comfortable, warm, content, and at peace. As you look around, you see that the trees are lush and green. They look healthy, strong, and sturdy. You walk up to one near you and you put your hand on its bark. It feels good to touch the hard wood. It gives you a feeling of sturdiness and strength. You feel that everything is as it should be. In this relaxed, comfortable, peaceful, and secure moment, you hear bird song. The sound of many different species of birds in the surrounding trees makes the forest come alive. Now you notice butterflies fluttering around you. One of them lands on a flower and then flies to another. You feel that you have been in this enchanted forest before. You feel you belong here. It is perfect in every way. As you stroll through the woods, you feel that the entire earth must be full of such beautiful places. In your transcendent state of bliss, your gaze turns to another butterfly as it lands on your shoulder. You take a deep breath to appreciate the presence of this tiny creature. You want it to stay on your shoulder, and it does. You find an old log on the ground and decide to sit down. All is well with you and the world. You feel connected to everything around you. It is the kind of connectedness you felt as a child when your mother held you in her arms, but even better. It is a feeling where you desire nothing because you have everything. You're filled with peace, joy, and deep gratitude. You feel what it is like to be truly you. And having created and experienced this enchanted and pristine world, you realize with complete and full conviction that the outer world will reflect what you experienced in your inner world. Now you're ready to come back to the external world. As you open your eyes, everything still looks the same, but you know in your heart that you have nudged the universe. You and hundreds and thousands or millions of people imagining as you have done can indeed transform the world to the one you imagined. You have done it. You have done all this without knowing how it actually works. You have done it in the comfort and safety of your own home or wherever you are. You have done it knowing that the infinite mind creates the reality you have dreamed and expect. You are at peace and you feel the love and connection of everyone present here today. Thank you.
There's a place that I know where the sycamores grow, daffodils have their fun, where the cares of the day seem to slowly fade away in the glow of the evening sun. Peace when the day is done. If I go there relate, let my mind meditate on everything to be done. If I search deep inside, let my conscience be my guide, then the answers are sure to come. Don't have to worry none. When you find peace of mind, leave your worries behind. Don't say that it can't be done. With a new point of view, life's true meaning comes to you, and the freedom you seek is won. Peace is for everyone. Peace is for everyone.
Thank you, Rachel. This morning, I'll discuss a few of the insights I've gained about how we can live abundantly in 3 parts. A brief description about the requirements for living abundantly will be my first part. The second portion will be feeling abundance. And the third will be creating abundance. So the first one, requirements for living abundantly. And I might just say on the very front end that there's nothing that I'm going to share with you that you don't know really, really well, but it helps to hear it from a different perspective, from a different person. These reminders are important. This is why we gather every Sunday to remind ourselves and enjoy each other's communion. So living abundantly requires that we understand who we really are. We're biological beings living within the parameters and limitations of a 3-dimensional world. Simultaneously, we are also magnificent beings, supremely loving, infinitely intelligent, and capable of creating the realities we desire. Why? Because we are made in His image. Living abundantly is possible by holding good thoughts, peaceful feelings, and love in our hearts and minds for everyone and everything. Indeed, it is that simple. However, we are aware how our egos create fear, doubt, inadequacy, a sense of lack, and many forms of suffering, making it difficult for us to live abundantly. So what are we to do? Opening our hearts, banishing fear, and living in accordance with our true nature, we can experience peace, joy, love, and abundance. And once again, what do we mean by our true nature? Simply that we're made in God's image. If we're made in God's image, can there be any lack of abundance in any arena? Living abundantly also requires study, reflection, contemplation, and prayers, as well as having a sense of wonder, awe, humility, and an acceptance of the great mystery. Because when it comes right down to it, we really don't know how all of this works, the magnitude, the infinite mind, and the infinite love of God. Though everything I've said so far is well known, yet affirming it this morning is reassuring. And I wanted to share a personal experience with you, which triggered many of the things that I ended up doing while I was writing the book. And that one such experience was my near-death experience, or normally known as NDE. So I'll share that with you. So when I was 14 years old, I contacted malaria. I grew up in Pakistan, and it can happen there. That weakened my immune system, and I also contacted cholera and typhoid. Now I know that you know that every one of these things alone, these diseases alone, can kill you. So I was getting really weak. I was losing weight. They were administering really powerful antibiotic drugs, but nothing was taking hold. So it got so bad that my mother had to literally carry me to the bathroom. Then one day, a family physician who was visiting me at the house after he examined me was leaving, and he stopped my mom in the hallway, which was next to my bedroom. And he spoke in hushed tones and said, we may not be able to save him. And when my mom heard that, she, holding back tears, came back to my room, sat next to me, and held my hand, and didn't say anything. So I asked her, I said, so what did the doctor say? And she said that, honey, you'll be fine. That's what he said. You'll be okay. You will recover. And of course, I hadn't heard that, but I was too weak to argue with her. But sensible enough to realize that what is a mom to say under those circumstances anyway? So she said, sweetheart, why don't you just rest, go to sleep, and I'll come back in a couple of hours and bring you something to eat. And so I did. I laid there, closed my eyes, and that's when it happened. I saw a round white light appear with my closed eyes, and it brought immense peace and love. I sensed it with every fabric of my body, and I hadn't ever experienced anything like that before, nor have I experienced that since. And intuitively, I just felt that this was a representation of God. And I was feeling so very peaceful and feeling so much love that I instinctively just spoke to the light and said, if this means that I'm going to die, I'm ready to go. And silently in my heart, I heard a response, and it said, are you sure? And then a second later or two, I said, well, if I have a choice, I would like to live. And then I constructed the best argument I could come up with as a 14-year-old for God to consider. And I said, besides, I've been a good boy. So the light then faded away, and I fell asleep. And a couple of hours later, my mom did come and said, honey, I'm going to bring you some food. And I said, no, I am feeling better. I want to sit with you guys on the dining room table. And she says, no, you can't do that. You're just too weak. You'll fall down. I insisted. I said, Mom, why don't you give me a shoulder? I'll walk with you. Have me sit at the dining room table. So she did. And as we're sitting there and I was trying to eat, I did have enough energy and strength so I wouldn't fall off the chair. My sisters, 3 sisters, they were looking at me like, I hope he doesn't fall off. And my dad was looking at me, and I felt a little self-conscious, but I made it through the dinner. And that night, I slept really well. And the next morning when I woke up, I was feeling more energized and better than I had ever felt in 2-3 months. So the recovery continued. Every day I was getting better. And in a week's time, in 1 week, I was good enough to go back to school. And I did. And my classmates were very curious and like, what was wrong? What happened? I didn't tell them anything. I didn't tell them anything about a near-death experience because it was such a profound experience. I didn't tell my mom, dad, anybody, because I thought, well, they wouldn't believe me in the first place, and I didn't know how to express it as a 14-year-old. So I just remained silent, and I just told them that I'm just really glad that I'm well again, and it's good to be back in school. So obviously that was something that stayed with me. And then in the 5th decade of my life, when I was sort of inspired to start writing about some of these things, I was very curious about how did it happen? I didn't have a framework to answer the question, well, what is a near-death experience? So with my studies of science, quantum physics, quantum biology, neuroscience, and then in the ancient wisdom traditions, I garnered some things and I learned a few things, and I would like to share them with you. So at this point, I would like to just read a couple of pages from my book, which describes what I learned about near-death experiences, some of which you probably already know, but it's good to be reminded about it. So this is a direct quote from my book. Over the last several decades, modern medicine has inadvertently given us compelling validation of near-death experiences. Near-death experiences were known, but rare before the advent of highly effective emergency medical treatments. Since then, advanced practices of resuscitation and life support have saved millions of people who might otherwise have died, resulting in a considerable increase in the number of people who have had near-death experiences. Not everyone who has been saved from death has had one, but an astonishing number have. One consistently reported experience is people feeling and seeing themselves floating out of and hovering above their physical bodies, seeing their bodies on an operating table or at the scene of an accident as if from outside. While in that state, they report knowing, seeing, and hearing what is going on, including things that are happening outside the range of ordinary seeing and hearing. And returning to waking awareness, many accurately describe conversations and activities that took place while they were unconscious. Not everyone who has had a near-death experience comes forward to share their story publicly, fearing ridicule, feeling they will not be understood, or simply wanting to protect themselves from cynical misinterpretations. They keep their experiences a secret, as I did. Or they share their stories only among a few trusted family and friends. The current understanding among most scientists and doctors is that near-death experiences are nothing more than a natural extension of our ability to dream. In other words, mere hallucinations caused by biochemical processes confined to the brain. These assertions, though spoken with conviction, have not been proven, but are generally held to be true by the public at large. The layperson is accustomed to believing doctors and scientists, and therefore their interpretations go unchallenged. My dreams vary from one night to the next, as do everyone else's dream. So to me, the suggestion that similar accounts of near-death experiences from hundreds of thousands of people living all over the world are merely an extension of our ability to dream sounds more like scientific dogma than an explanation. And it does not explain how people know things that happen around them while they were comatose. And why, if near-death experiences are just dreamlike hallucinations, does the experience leave people so deeply changed as it has done to me? Another significant similarity amongst people who've had near-death experiences is the nature of their memories about this experience. Everyday memories are subject to change over time, and memories of the same event witnessed by different people vary in terms of what each individual perceived at the time. In contrast, the memory of a near-death experience remains rock solid, vivid, and clear over time. From my own experience of near-death and from learning about the experiences of many others, I've gleaned a critical lesson that there is continuity of life and that after physical death, we experience an infinitely greater sense of peace and love. So I'd like to move on to the second section of my presentation. And here I wanted to give you a little better sense about what I experienced. Words like infinite peace, infinite love, and exaltation, they do communicate a deeper sense of peace that one has experienced. But I wanted to give you something a little bit even more. So I hope you're willing to try this little experiment. So in this imaginary exercise, we'll give you a sense of that infinite serenity. Of course, it won't convey the profound and significant serenity and love of an actual near-death experience, but it'll give you a little bit more than those words that we have used to convey the peace and love that normally we have used. So imagine holding your loved one. You may close your eyes when you do that and giving them a really beautiful, peaceful hug. It feels good, doesn't it? Okay. Now you let go of the person, and when the hug ends, that feeling dissipates a little bit. Okay. Let's hold that same person again and hold them with all our love, experiencing their love coming to us and our love going to them. And now imagine that what you're experiencing is twice as good as what you experienced the first time you hugged the person in this imaginary exercise. Really hold them. Savor the moment. Try to imagine how it would be to experience it twice as well. Or you might experience it a little bit better. You might even experience it feeling, yeah, it does feel a little bit better. Now we'll make it a little bit harder. Try to imagine it being 10 times as more peaceful and beautiful and loving. It gets a little harder because you already felt so good. How about trying to imagine 100 times better than what you experienced when you were holding the person and wanting it to be better? How about 1,000 times? How about 1,000,000 times better? You get the point I'm trying to make, that God's love, when experienced personally, supersedes anything that you've experienced before. And it is beautiful, and it is constantly present, and it is what makes us live and do the things we do. So my experience of love, serenity, peace was only a few seconds long, but imagine that feeling to be an hour long, or several hours long, or a year long, or as long as eternity. Now we're talking about the peace and love of God, which we cannot experience unless we want that to come into us. So the question could be put, why would gaining a better sense about peace and love of the heavenly domain be important? Well, it's important because as soon as you start imagining, just like you did just a little while ago, holding your loved one, you can invite God's love into your heart, and it actually starts transforming all of the biochemical reactions that your body's having. Everything in your body reacts to that love and that peace immediately. Well, we may not feel it in that way immediately, but it does happen. And so one of the ways in which we can live abundantly is by inviting God's love, as we do, but trying to imagine it even more significantly on a daily basis. The third piece of what I wanted to talk to you about is creating abundance to experience the realities we desire. Well, what might they be? There might be a wonderful relationship. It might be having a healthy and joyous life. It might be, like it has been for me for some time, writing with inspiration and speaking the truth. How can it be done? How can we do that? How can we have that abundance? In the mid-19th and early 20th century, writers like James Allen, Joseph Murphy, and Neville Goddard, among others, brought forth the idea that the infinite power of mind creates the outer world. And this particular statement is at the heart of quantum physics itself. Subatomic particles don't just pre-exist and we observe them. Subatomic particles come into being when we imagine watching them. In other words, our thoughts create the physical world. Now, amazingly, though scientists all over the world believe that to be true, scientifically true, that thoughts create the subatomic particles, today, there are many scientific experiments that have shown that even in the world of sticks and stones and planets and galaxies and universe and black holes and the cosmos itself is created by the power of our mind. Why our mind? We're made in his image. Or the continuity of the infinite mind, God's mind, is the creation of all of this. So if that is the case, can we, in our own thoughts, create the things we want? So the likes of Neville Goddard suggested that to create what we want is rather simple. Just before going to sleep, when you're in a sort of almost ready to fall asleep, you imagine what it is that you want. You desire what it is that you want. For me, it was writing with inspiration. So I would say once or twice before falling asleep that God is working to create the inspiration I need to do my work. And you don't have to cling to it. You don't have to demand it. You just ask for it and you just peacefully fall asleep. Then when you wake up next morning, again, you say, I know God's miracle has been working on me, with me, and I will be inspired and I will be able to do this inspirational type of writing today. And you can do this over and over again with whatever you desire. And amazingly, it does come true. Now, a caveat is this, that it may not happen exactly when you want it. And it may not be exactly the way you wanted it. But whatever comes, we need to be able to give thanks for it, accept it with open heart, that it is what was best for me. And with that spirit, what has surprised me, and I believe with all my heart, is that we increase the propensity of the kinds of things that we truly desire. So in closing, I would like to say that we are extraordinarily remarkable beings, and it helps to remind ourselves of our true nature as often as possible. And in doing this, it makes life easier, more peaceful, joyous, and abundant in every way. So thank you, and may God bless you all.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, planets form. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals your nature, so will I. 'Cause I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. If creation still obeys you, so will I. Oh, so will I. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. And if the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything lift you high, so will I. And if the wind goes where you send it, so will I. And if the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. And if the sum of all our praises still falls shy, then we will sing again 100 million times. God of salvation, you chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. Where you've lost your life so I could find it here. If you lift the grave behind you, so will I. 'Cause I can see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly choose surrender, so will I. 'Cause I can see your heart 8 billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. And if you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? 'Cause you're the one who never leaves the one behind.
Rachel, you are truly one of my favorite musicians. Your voice, I like to say it's like butter. I could listen to you all day long. You are so great. Thank you. And Nuri, thank you for your great sharing your experiences with us. I love the analogy, trying to visualize times 10, times 100, times infinite, really put it into picture. And I've talked about this, everybody knows about this. My wife has done some amazing healing with her mind, and the mind is just an unbelievable thing. So I'm a big believer in that. So thank you for that great talk. In this time of COVID and Zoom, we still have considerable expenses to maintain our beautiful center in anticipation of our eventual return. All of us who are fond of and connected to Unity of the Valley are immensely grateful for your monetary contributions to keep our spiritual community going and thriving, as well as your participation in our services. We affirm the natural expansion of our own prosperity, as well as that of Unity of the Valley, as we give of our time, talents, and treasure with the high vibration of gratitude and an open heart. Let's read the love offering affirmation together, and then you'll have time during our musical interlude to consider your love offering. You may make your contribution after the service, either by mailing a check to the center or via the donate button on our website. Please join me in this love offering affirmation. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Now I invite everyone to join me in blessing all contributions and good of any kind so generously given to support Unity of the Valley this week. Together, we affirm that God is our source and we are the channels. We bless these gifts given in love that serve our spiritual family and flow out into our community and beyond. We are prosperous and blessed with abundant good. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. We'll be brief with our reminders. Please do see the weekly buzz or our website for more details. You're invited to join the live meditation on Unity of the Valley's Facebook page Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. In December, Catherine Belisle's Max meditation will be Monday, December 28th from 7 to 8 p.m. Cost is $10. Please register with the link in the buzz or on the website. Remember, you may join Lynn Woodland's Miracles course on Wednesday via Zoom from 7 to 8:15 p.m. for a donation of any amount to Unity of the Valley per class. Deborah Engel's excellent classes were recorded and are available as individual recordings for $15 each, or a special price of $50 for all 5 recordings, a substantial savings of $25. And finally, we're offering the opportunity to advertise your business in the buzz. If you have the kind of business that would benefit from it, you can now advertise to our 320 subscribers and hundreds of Facebook followers by putting your business card in the buzz. The cost is $20 a month for 4 or 5 issues, and you may cancel at any time. Please call the center at 952-895-0745. And Jeannie, our administration, will call you back to make it happen. Again, please check out the buzz or website for details and register for a class, order recordings, or place an ad. Last, heads up on our speaker next Sunday. Sarada Chiruvalo, easy for me to say, will speak on self-realization, home at last, which will add fuel to the spiritual fire stoked by Nuri's talk today. Rich Miller will be our musician. If you don't receive the weekly buzz and would like to, you can opt into our website at unityofthevalleymn.org or email at info@unityofthevalleymn.org. You may submit prayer requests to our prayer chaplains at the same email address or ask a prayer chaplain to call you. We also encourage you to subscribe to our Facebook page, YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and visit our website to learn more about us. Please join me now for our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds me. I am that light. The love of God enfolds me. I am that love. The power of God protects me. I am that power. The presence of God watches over me. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. And my quote for the week, I am never in control of what happens around me, but I am always in control of what happens within me. Thank you again for joining us today. Be well and please stay connected with Unity. If you'd like to be part of the Zoom social after the service, just stay logged in after the meeting. And now we'll conclude with Rachel leading us in our closing song. Feel free to sing along at home.
There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do. Your infinite love will sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? 'Cause your infinite love made me, made everything.